Delisting of Equity Shares Regulations 2009. What do you mean by delisting? What is listing? Listing is when you are entering into the market, right? You are getting an entry pass into the market. Your shares are now on the stock exchange. But delisting is very well reverse of the listing. You are saying goodbye to the stock exchanges. So delisting denotes removal of listing of the securities of a listed company from the stock exchange. Now, delisting, yes, definitely differs from suspension or withdrawal of the admission to dealings of the listed. So, listed securities, you are withdrawing your applications for listing. Now here, which are the agencies that are running in this particular regulation is the merchant banker to the offer, professionals, and the registrar to the offer. Thus, the simple and plainly the rules are given over here. What would be they doing? The merchant banker in this particular, what is their role play in this particular regulation? It is that it will determine the exit price, make a public announcement, like handling the public announcement, finalizing the schedule for delisting, or managing the escrow account, right? So managing the escrow account, then final exit price, determining to the final exit price, interacting with the authorities, the stock exchanges for the delisting process. So moreover, up till now, we have gone through many such regulations. We have seen the merchant bankers role over certain in every picture, right? So now you are well versed with the public announcement, you are well versed with the escrow account, exit price, right? Delisting means you are exiting from the stock exchange, means now you are quitting, correct? So in that regards, what happens is you have to give a deal to your shareholders, right? You cannot just wave off and move out, correct? So in this delisting process, what happens is now your shares won't be traded on the market, in the stock market, correct? But what happens to the shareholders? What happens to the people who are holding your shares, right? So you have to give them an exit opportunity. You have to give them an offer to sell their shares to you, correct? Now, in this regards, what registrar's roles are there as per this regulation is like dispatching or giving notice, completing notice of dispatch notice or letter of offer, correct? Or hold equity shares, right, for during the tendering process. Professionals have to intimate to the stock exchange that there's a company secretary mostly, or they have to assist the company for preparation of the documents, going through the process of filing the resolution with the stock exchange and the ROC, right? So we have run through many regulations now, and moreover, you are very well versed up till now what are, as per the company, what are the procedures to be followed, what is the basic process to be followed by a company in case of any issue, right? So I request you people, you focus on the procedure. You will find a certain common box, create the common structure, and as per other different regulations, keep on adding the steps. Got the point? So you can use various colors to highlight your process. Either you can prepare a comparative table, over the process, right? And regulation wise, you can put down the at least the bullet points, the topic, the main points, that what is to be done when. Got the point? Now, applicability of delisting. So delisting is delisting can be for two types. It can be voluntary delisting or compulsory delisting, correct? Voluntary delisting is done by the company by itself. Compulsory delisting is by virtue of an order, correct? That can be included of suspension. So voluntary delisting voluntary delisting from all stock exchanges, voluntary delisting from few stock exchanges, and small company whether listed at the stock exchanges. So, voluntary exit. There are two parts in it. When your shares, say for example, my shares are listed on Kolkata Stock Exchange as well as BSE Stock Exchange, BSE, that is Bombay Stock Exchange, and the National Stock Exchange. So in that regards, I want to delist my shares from Calcutta Stock Exchange, but still I am being on BSE and NSE, right? So that is the second part, wherein voluntary delisting from few stock exchanges but remains on at least one stock exchange which is having nationwide terminals. That is, I am still being on BSE and NSE, but I am quitting from Calcutta Stock Exchange. So that falls under the second category. But yes, I am listed on BSE and now I am getting delisted. I am only listed on one stock exchange and I am getting delisted, right? So in that regards, my application, in that regards, I have to deal with the exit opportunity. I have to come up with an exit opportunity for the shareholders. Whereas in other case, I am still listed. I'm still in the market. I haven't closed the doors. I haven't quit the market. So in that case, I don't have to give any kind of opportunity to the shareholders for quitting, correct? They will be still dealing into the securities. Small share company will be looking into the process at the later slides. Moving further, these regulations are not applicable for securities listed without making a public issue on the institutional trading platform. So there are various other securities like mutual funds and all which are to be listed, correct? But they are not coming up with a public issue. So these are the institutional trading platform and these are the institutional traders like mutual fund whose securities are to be listed on the stock exchanges. So for them, the scheme is not applicable. The scheme is not applicable to the companies who are being sanctioned under the scheme of BIFR, that is the SIC company regulations or act, or by an order of NCLT. They have been given and scheme, correct? So for this, them delisting regulations are not applicable. And also in case of IBC, if you are going up for insolvency and bankruptcy code, under that process, you are actually dealing with a resolution plan. In this regards, delisting regulations are not applicable. Now, what are the circumstances where delisting is not permitted? Pursuant to a buyback. So once you're coming with a buyback, after that immediately you won't be able to go for delisting, nor after issuing preferential allotment, coming up with preferential allotment, or unless a period of 3 years has elapsed since the listing of these shares. So I can say after listing, you have to be on the stock exchange for minimum of 3 years at least, correct? Then only you can go for delisting. Instruments which are convertible into the same class of securities which are outstanding. So wherein you are going on with, in case you have outstanding convertible securities wherein which are yet to be converted into equity. So in that case, in these circumstances, you won't be permitted. Delisting of convertible securities won't be permitted, but no promoters shall directly or indirectly engage any funds to finance the exit opportunity or acquisition made pursuant to delisting under this regulation, right? And they shall not propose delisting if the entity belonging to the promoter or the promoter group, so I'll read it out for you. A promoter or an acquirer or promoter group shall not propose delisting of a company if any entity belonging to the promoter or a promoter group who has sold equity shares of the company during the period of last 6 months prior to the date of the board meeting, correct, in which delisting is proposed. So you cannot go for delisting if you have the promoter or any member of the promoter group has made a transaction in last 6 months, correct, of the equity shares of the company. So if you have sold your equity shares of the company for a period of 6 months prior to the date on which you are making a decision for delisting, you won't be allowed, you won't be permitted to go on with the delisting. So as I said, there are prerequisitions even when you're coming up with an issue. So you have to go through all the regulations properly. If there are certain transactions, if you have entered into certain transaction, you have to have a gap of certain period, then only you can come up with the issue. No acquirer or promoter group or person acting in concern or related to the entities employ any device or scheme to defraud a shareholder or any transaction or practice that operates fraud or is engaged in any of the fraudulent activities in connection to delisting. So if you are manipulating or if you are doing any such act which is in connection with delisting or connected to fraudulent activities, in that regards you won't be going for delisting, permitted delisting. Voluntary delisting. Now what is voluntary delisting? Here the promoters of the listed company decides on their own to permanently remove its securities from the stock exchange, right? As I said earlier, either differently, like voluntary delisting can be by small companies from all the stock exchanges you want to quit, or any one of the entity. But still, maybe at least you are listed on any one of the stock exchanges which is having nationwide terminal. So in this case, as I said earlier, option 1, no exit opportunity is required to be given. So what is that? In this option, if after the proposed delisting from anyone or more than recognized stock exchange, the equity share still remains listed on the recognized stock exchange, correct? They need not have to give opportunity to the shareholders. The procedure for delisting of shares can be through the board resolution, public notice, and application to the concerned stock exchanges. In the second option, you have to give exit opportunity to the public shareholders. This option requires that if after proposed delisting, the equity share do not remain listed on the recognized stock exchange having nationwide trading terminals, exit opportunity shall be given to all the public shareholders holding equity shares through reverse book building. Now, procedure for voluntary delisting. Procedure for voluntarily delisting from all the stock exchanges. So if you are quitting from all the stock exchanges, as stated earlier, you have to give exit opportunity to the shareholders, correct? First thing you have to do is you have to convene a board meeting. You have to call up a board meeting, correct? Proposing the delisting, right? And it is to be approved by the board in the meeting. Post in that very same meeting, you have to appoint a merchant banker who shall carry out the due diligence with regards to the delisting of securities under delisting regulations and will submit their due diligence report before the board of directors. Now, what is the due diligence report covering? The due diligence report is covering the trading carried out by the entities belonging to the acquirer or promoter group, correct? Whether it was in compliance of the regulations or not, and with applicable provisions of securities law. Secondly, entities belonging to acquirer or promoters group or their related entities have carried out or not any transaction to facilitate the success of delisting offer which is not in compliance of any other. So as stated in buyback, when you're coming up with buyback event, there has to be no intention that you are somewhere manipulating the delisting offer, I can say. So when you're coming up, and even if you saw when you cannot go for delisting, if you immediately after buyback, you cannot come up with a delisting offer. Understood? So when you the merchant banker has to certify, has to cover up the due diligence covering these particular requirements, right? Subsequent to the receipt of the due diligence report of the merchant banker appointed by the company, the board of directors will approve the delisting proposal of the company and seek approval of the members through postal ballot. So delisting proposal can be approved by way of postal ballot. Intimation of board meeting to stock exchanges. Now, once the board meeting, so the decision of the board meeting is to be intimated to the stock exchanges. The result of the board meeting is to be intimated to the stock exchanges as per LODR regulations. Again, you are coming up with a special resolution. So in the general meeting, you have to pass a special resolution. Special resolution means you have to have a majority approval of the majority of the shareholders. So the prior approval of the shareholders of the company is taken by special resolution to be passed through postal ballot, disclosing the material fact in the explanatory statement sent to the shareholders in relation to the resolution. Okay, so yesterday when we saw in case of buyback of shares, I had explained what is an explanatory statement and what are the relevant material facts which are to be given in the explanatory statement, right? So further, the note is present over here stating that the special resolution shall be acted upon only if the votes cast by the public shareholders is in favor of the proposal amount to at least 2 times the number of votes cast by the public shareholders against it. So in short, the total share capital of the company consists of the promoter and non-promoter shareholding. Non-promoter shareholding is considered as a public shareholding, right? So now I am considering here only the public shareholding. So if I count the public shareholding, the ratio should be 2:1. That is 2 votes for in against of 1 vote. Understood? So if 1 vote is against the resolution, 2 votes should be for the resolution. Got the form? So at least 2 times the number of votes. The votes in favor should be 2 times the number of votes against the resolution. Application. Then further what you will do is make an application, in principle application to the stock exchanges, right? In principle approval lena hoga. Then finally you will be making an application for delisting to the concerned stock exchanges, right? Now here also every year the company shall make an application to the concerned recognized stock exchange for granting the final delisting approval within 1 year from passing the, so I can say the special resolution is valid for a period of 1 year. Due diligence by merchant banker. So this as per regulation 8, 1A, B, C, D, E, right? The board of directors shall take into consider or disclose to the stock exchanges the shares held by the promoters. That is, I can say they have to disclose the promoter shareholding, right? Then they have to appoint, like the merchant banker is appointed for due diligence, so they have to obtain all the details of the trading of the shares by the company during the last 2 years, prior to the date of the board meeting, and also not only the promoter and the promoter category, but top 25 shareholders as on the date of the board meeting. So as on the date of the board meeting, whoever are the top 25 shareholders holding majority of the shares in the company, the transactions made by them for last 2 years will be scrutinized, right? And to consider the proposal for delisting from the stock exchanges, details of off-market transaction of such period for a period of 2 years shall be furnished to the merchant banker for carrying out the due diligence. Easy. Moving further, obtain further information in case required. The board of directors, while approving the proposal for delisting, shall certify. They have to give a certification. They have to vouch that they have complied with all the applicable laws of Securities Act, Securities Law, and the promoter and promoters group or related parties are in compliance with regulation 4, I can say, and delisting is in interest of the shareholders. For certification, the board of directors of the company shall take into account the report of merchant banker as well. The merchant banker appointed by the board of directors of the company shall carry out due diligence for obtaining the details from the board of directors. Got the point? Easy. Now, while considering an application for seeking in principle approval for delisting, the recognized stock exchange will have to take into account the following points. First is the compliances of with clause B of subregulation 1 of regulation 8, correct? Then the resolution of the investors' grievances by the company. So whether the company has complied with the requirements or have resolved all the complaints of the investors, how they are tracking it, that has to be considered. Then whether the company has made the payment of listing fees, correct? Whether the company is complied with the regulations of LODR, correct? Whether all disclosures, timely disclosures are being made by the company, whether there is any litigation pending against the company or any other matter which can be relevant to the company, right? And these are the points will be taken into consideration before granting in principle approval. A final application for delisting made with such proof of having a good exit opportunity, right, that will be considered by the stock exchange. Okay. Further, you will be determining the offer price. So offer price will be determined through book building process, wherein bidding would be done, right? So after fixing the floor price and disclosure of the same in the public announcement and the letter of offer. So floor price is the minimum price, correct, which will be decided, minimum offer which will be decided at what minimum price, that is the floor price, the shares would be purchased. So this is like buying back the shares again, right? So public announcement, yes, the acquirer or the promoters of the company within 1 working day from the date of receipt of the in principle approval from the recognized stock exchange member, public announcement in at least 1 English, Hindi and regional language newspaper. At the point about the approval of the delisting, announcing the delisting. But while making an announcement of the delisting, the public announcement should contain the following information, that is the floor price, the offer price and the offered price, how the offer price was arrived, the dates of opening and if there is an offer price, correct, in that case. So the date at which the dates of opening and closing of the offer, the names of the stock exchange where you are sorting this, where you are being delisted from, correct. In the then the manner in which the offer can be accepted by the shareholders, how they will be accepting the offer, disclosure regarding the minimum acceptance conditions for success of the offer, right? So minimum acceptance level, okay, how does even it can be a failure, So minimum criteria, minimum conditions you have to be set up, which once fulfilled, the offer will be said to be successful. The names of the merchant bankers to be given and other intermediaries involved together for helping the shareholders. You will be fixing the specified date, correct? And the object of the proposed delisting, why we are going for delisting, correct? And the proposed timetable from opening of the offer till payment of the consideration or returns. Also, you have to give the details of the escrow account where the amount is to be and the amount deposited, right? Now, listing and give me a moment. Listing details and the stock market details, wherein you have to give the details of the high and low and the average market price. So high and low of the closing prices and the average market price of the equity shares during the preceding 3 years, right? The monthly and monthly high and low, where the company's shares has been traded at the highest price and where it was traded as the lowest price, correct? Daily, so monthly high and low is to be given for the past 6 months preceding to the date of public announcement, and the volume of shares traded in each month. So total how many shares were traded on the stock exchange during the last 6 months preceding the public announcement. Present shareholding of the present share capital structure and shareholding pattern, right? And the likely post delisting shareholding pattern. So if the delisting has been done, the shares will be brought back, correct? Purchased back. So in that regards, what will be the post after this particular event? What will be the post shareholding of the company? So you have to give the shareholding estimated. So here you know the capital of the company. So how much ever the capital is, promoters holding will be remaining with the promoters only, but here you are dealing with the public shareholding. So you know how many shares, definitely taking into consideration the share capital of the company, you know how many shares you have to buy back, correct? Right? Purchase in this case of delisting process. So calculation is simple. You need not have to find any figure. It is a pure share capital only. You have to give a statement certified by the board of directors disclosing that the material deviation, if any. So even if you have utilized the proceeds of the company, correct? Proceeds of any of the securities issued by the company during the last 5 years, where you have made a material deviation, like you have gone against the, you have utilized the funds, correct, against the objective of the company. In that regard, you have to give a disclosure, right? Then this disclosure is to be made immediately preceding the date of public announcement. A statement of the board of directors confirming that all material information has been disclosed. A statement from the board of directors certifying that the company is in compliance with all the applicable security laws, and the promoter and promoter group or their related entities have not carried out any transaction to facilitate the success of this delisting process, and this delisting is in favor of the shareholders. Further, also you have to so these are the material information. This is the material information which you have to provide in the public announcement, correct? Public announcement. So the last point is it should be signed by the promoter. Where the promoter is a company, the public announcement shall be signed on behalf of the board of directors by its manager or secretary, right? So where the promoter is a company, in that regard, in case where the promoter is a company, it will be signed by the board of directors or the manager or the secretary, and not by less than 2 directors of the company, one of whom shall be managing director, and where there is one. So it should be signed by the and dated by the promoter, correct? So one of the promoter has to sign. If the promoter is a company, in that regards, on behalf of that particular company, that company's board of directors or secretary can sign or manager can sign. And this company, correct, that is the which is being getting delisted, that company's board has to sign. That is, at least 2 directors have to sign, and out of that, if there is a managing director, then managing director has to sign. The point specified date is a date not later than 1 working day from the date of public announcement, which will be to be determined, on which the names of the shareholder to whom the letter of offer will be dispatched, will be sent. So a date not later than 1 working day from the date of public announcement. We'll be looking into the chart properly. Now the dispatch of the letter of offer. The acquirer or the promoter shall dispatch the letter of offer